I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
Martin Luther King was born in Atlanta, Georgia on January 15, 1929 to Alberta Williams King and Reverend Martin Luther King Sr. From 1935 to 1944, Dr. King attended and finished his early education at David T. Howard Elementary School and Atlanta University Laboratory School. He attended Booker T. Washington High School and left before graduation due to his acceptance and early admission in Atlanta's Morehouse College program for advanced placement in the fall of 1944. He was 15 years of age. Dr. King decided to become a minister and delivered his first prepared sermon in his father's church, Ebenezer Baptist Church, in Atlanta, at age 18 in the summer of 1947. Dr. King was ordained as a Baptist minister and received his BA degree in sociology from Morehouse College at age 19. In September, he entered Crossroads Theological Seminary in Chester, Pennsylvania. Inspired by the preachings of Dr. A.J. Muste and Dr. Mordecai Johnson on the life and teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. King was moved to study intensely Gandhi's writings and movements while still a student at Crosser from September 1948 to June 1951, where he graduated at the age of 22 with his B.D. degree. Dr. King later married Coretta Scott on June 18, 1953. He became the pastor of Dexter Avenue Church in Montgomery, Alabama on October 31, 1944. After Rosa Parks, a 42-year-old seamstress, refused to give up her seat to a white passenger on a Montgomery bus and arrested, Dr. King became involved and organized the Montgomery Improvement Association, which elected him president. On December 5, the famous boycott was started. This was the catalytic event which started Dr. King on the road to become America's crusader and most famous civil rights leader. Dr. King's home was bombed on January 30, 1956. No one was hurt. On January 12, 1957, mostly concerned ministers, labor leaders, lawyers, and activists formed the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and Dr. King was elected president. Dr. King was almost killed by a deranged black woman who stabbed him as he was autographing his new book in a department store in Harlem, New York, in September 20, 1958. He was then later arrested for breaking the state of Georgia's trespassing law while picketing. He was transferred to Reidsville State Prison but released on $2,000 bond on October 19, 1960. Sit-in demonstrations held in Birmingham, Alabama to protest public accommodations and eating facilities. Dr. King was arrested during one on April 12, 1963. He then appeared in Time magazine as Man of the Year with a feature story and cover photo on January 3, 1964. Dr. King was criticized against our government's policy in Vietnam on May 16, 1966. The National Advisory Committee on Civil Rights Order came out with a statement concerning racism and riots in America on March 2, 1968. Just after 6 p.m. the following day, King was standing on the second floor balcony of the Lorraine Motel where he and his associates were staying when a sniper's bullet struck him in the neck. He was rushed to a hospital where he was pronounced dead about an hour later at the age of 39. Shock and distress over the news of King's death sparked rioting in more than 100 cities around the country, including burning and looting. Amid a wave of national mourning, President Lyndon B. Johnson urged Americans to reject the blind violence that had killed King, whom he called the apostle of nonviolence. He also called on Congress to speedily pass civil rights legislation, then entering the House of Representatives for debate, calling it a fitting legacy to King and his life's work. On April 11th, Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1968, also known as the Fair Housing Act.
Of the good man that was lost must strengthen the determination of each of us to bring full and equal and exact justice to all of our people.
Though blacks and whites alike mourn King's passing, the killing in some way served to widen the rift between black and white Americans, as many blacks saw King's assassination as a rejection of their vigorous pursuit of equality through the nonviolent resistance he had championed. His murder, like the killing of Malcolm X in 1965, radicalized many moderate African American activists, fueling the growth of the Black Power movement and the Black Panther Party in the late 1960s and early 1970s. King has remained the most widely known African American leader of his era and the most public face of the civil rights movement, along with its most eloquent voice. A campaign to establish a national holiday in his honor began almost immediately after his death, and its proponents overcame significant opposition. Critics pointed the FBI surveillance files suggesting King's adultery and his influence by communists before President Ronald Reagan signed the King Holiday Bill into law in 1983.
Freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.